Hi, my name is Shakia Bruce, and I'm a candidate of the MED Instructional Technology Program at Kennesaw State University. My anticipated graduation date is July 2019. The capstone project was on the overall effectiveness of technology based reading interventions for third, fourth, and fifth grade. After an intensive data analysis, we discovered that the majority of our student population amongst these grade levels were reading below their current grade level. So, in hopes of effectively utilizing technology to increase students' overall academic performance in reading and provide them with a research based intervention that would assist teachers with blending foundational gaps, we decided to begin researching several different technology based reading interventions. In the summer of 2017, we determined that 75% of the upper elementary testing student body population, which includes third through fifth grade, were reading below grade level. This was the main underlying reason why the end of course test results were not satisfactory. So we needed a solution and we needed to try to solve this problem urgently. With a limited amount of support staff, such as EIP or early intervention plan teachers, and other reading specialists, and a very tight budget, it was nearly impossible to hire additional bodies to help with the issue. In response to this alarming number of students reading below level, we decided to implement MobyMax as a technology based reading intervention. Basically, MobyMax is a teacher's best friend because it does everything for the teacher pertaining to an intervention just as it would be done if it were done traditionally. It gives an initial pre-assessment, chooses a foundational skill that is the weakest, and then provides lessons on that skill until the student masters it. There was an urgent need for a school-wide reading intervention so that students can catch up to their current Lexile level and there would be some improvement in the English language arts test scores. With a big shift from criterion reference competency tests, or better known as the CRCT, to the rigorous Georgia milestones, it was evident from the data that most students were not prepared to show mastery of higher order critical thinking skills. There needed to be a consistent intervention, school wide, put in place to bridge gaps in the pedagogy across the board needed to support or mirror the rigor of the end of the course test. There is an immediate need of innovative supports, strategies, and tools that will make it possible to meet the educational needs of all students. Research says that 21st century learners implementing technology during instruction is improving literacy acquisition and instruction. So, MobyMax served as that connecting link of literacy and technology at Ivy Prep Academy. Additionally, MobyMax served as an intervention that progress monitors, sets individual goals, and motivates students to read and comprehend, which was needed. The main goal and the overall objective of my capstone was to ensure that each student's Lexile level would increase by 150 points by spring 2018, which would simultaneously increase the overall student performance on the end of the year standardized test. Based on the need of raising students' Lexile levels, we decided to use MobyMax as a school-wide intervention. In the planning process, there were a few things that needed to take place. First, we had to analyze the data and address the problem, which was already done in the summer. But secondly, we wanted to research technology based reading interventions that were cost effective. So MobyMax made the cut. Shortly after deciding on MobyMax, we knew that teachers would need professional learning on the program in order to have teachers use it with fidelity and to use it correctly. In the beginning, I conducted the first MobyMax professional learning session where I showed teachers how to navigate the program and set up their student accounts. The second professional learning session I conducted as well, but that one served as an interim session where we analyzed the students' data to see if the program was working so far and we discussed any other issues. with MobyMax that may have surfaced during the implementation phase. Like, for example, some teachers were confused on how exactly the program was used for progress monitoring. So, in response to this issue, I showed teachers how to print individual reports and sheets that track student usage and scores. Lastly, toward the end of the semester, I sent out surveys to rate and gain feedback about the implementation of MobyMax during the semester. When implementing a new initiative, I have learned in this program that it's imperative to evaluate the progress of that initiative. In order to evaluate the effectiveness of MobyMax, teachers were required to provide feedback via survey, and with the survey, they were required to submit the student data from the program. I wanted to know through the feedback and the data if teachers felt that this reading intervention was effective and if it helped with bridging foundational gaps in reading and if they saw the improvements during whole group reading instruction. So I also got feedback through informal conversations, like during our data talks, and teachers were quoted saying that MobyMax made it easier to administer interventions because it did all the work for them. I've also heard that students enjoy getting on MobyMax and earning badges for successful completion of lessons, which made them want to keep practicing on MobyMax. So with the feedback and the data, we decided to use MobyMax again in the future. Although we did not reach our complete goal of raising each student's reading lexile level by 150 points, we came very close with about 72% of the student population that consistently used MobyMax. There was an increase in this population of the students' reading level and a significant amount of growth on the end of course tests or the Georgia milestones. For the third grade, spring 2017, 60% of the students showed to be on level and distinguished in ELA, as you can see here. In the spring, however, there was a 4% growth rate with 64% showing proficient and distinguished. For fifth grade, there was improvement here as well. In spring 2017, 66.7% scored on level, whereas in spring 2018, 87.80% demonstrated proficient and distinguished on the Georgia milestone scores. So we saw a huge, drastic change in the data in fifth grade. As noted in the project plan, the intent was to have all teachers trained on MobyMax so that they would be knowledgeable on navigating the program before going into the implementation phase, which was accomplished, but a change that transpired was that not all teachers were using the intervention to its full potential. So the final data scores cannot be contributed to the sole use of MobyMax. Despite of that change, there was still student growth through just pulling the data reports from MobyMax alone. At the end of the semester, I sent out a survey to gain feedback from the teachers. The survey results showed that teachers were overall pleased with what MobyMax had to offer. Some teachers noted that they would have loved to implement MobyMax more if they could have. So that population or the very few teachers that didn't use it consistently, they would have loved to use it consistently, especially after seeing the data and the improvements in the other students. Um, Students were showing improvement rapidly. I mean, the skills that they were practicing on MobyMax were being shown during class whole and small group sessions. Students that were struggling before were having a much easier time in class due to the time spent on MobyMax working on things such as fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. There was not 100% growth, but there was visible growth in the students' lexile levels and overall reading performance. And that would be all about my capstone on um, bridging gaps on Moby Max. Thank you.